Hello, Algebra 1 students. Welcome back to the videos. Today we are going to be doing the section of working with sets. The front of your guided notes are just definitions and explanations of things that we're going to be doing through the section. So I just want you guys to be able to reference through that. So I'm going to skip those slides and go straight to the back side where we're going to start writing notes. One thing I do want you to be aware of is for roster form and a lot of things we're going to be doing today, we're going to be using this bracket. And so when I do a squiggly bracket thing, these are what it's supposed to look like because it's really hard to write them on this with this pad. So when I do write it, this is the bracket I'm talking about. I just want you guys to be aware of that. But I'm going to skip through these. This is what you guys have in the front of your guided notes. But we're going to start with number one and go where you are going to write each set in raster form and in set builder notation. So for the first one, let's do the raster form first. D is a set of integers greater than -5 and less than 5. So if you look on the front of your sheet, it says the raster form is the list of elements of a set within brackets. So the first thing we need to do is go D is equal to, and then it's within brackets. So it's that squiggly line that I told you is the bracket. And then, so it's all the numbers that are greater than -5, so, and then less than 5. So we're just going to number them off. -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you end it with a bracket. That was a really bad one. I'll try to do that one better. There you go. And so that's what raster form is. So now let's do set builder notation. So in set builder notation, the first thing we need to do is go D is equal to, and we're going to have a bracket, just like in raster form. And we're going to define our variable. So we're going to use x. So we put x with a straight line, and that's defining what variable we're going to use. And then we're going to have all of these. If you look at the definitions of the types of numbers we can have, these are integers. So we're going to say x is an integer. And then we put a semicolon, and we're going to write an inequality that is this statement right here. So we're going to have -5 is less than x is less than 5. And then we close our bracket. So that is the set builder notation for number one. So I'm going to do number two with you guys. So number two, T is the set of odd natural numbers less than 14. So raster form, T is equal to a bracket, the set of odd natural numbers less than 14. So natural numbers start with 1 and are the counting numbers going up. So we're going to have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. And that is our raster form. So we're going to do our set builder. So we have T is equal to a bracket, and we're going to define our variable. So we have x, and now x is a natural number, is a odd, we can't forget that, natural number. Then we put our semicolon, and then we put x is less than 14. And that is our set builder notation for that one. I want you guys to pause it right now and do number 3 on your own, and then we'll come back and make sure we get the same answer. Okay, I'm back, and you can see what I did. Our raster form, I wrote it right there, and factor means the numbers that can go into 18 equally. So we have 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18. And then we just, for the set builder, we defined our variable, and then we have x as a natural number, And then we can't really write an inequality for this one, so we just say x is a factor of 18. Hope you guys understand that. We're going to move on to number 3. So write the solution of each inequality in set builder notation. So for the first thing we need to do is just solve the inequality. So for this one, we're going to subtract 8 from each side and get 4b is greater than or equal to negative 20. Then we're going to divide by 4 to get b is greater than or equal to negative 5. And then we're going to write that in set builder notation. So we're going to define our variable of b, and then b is a real number. And for these ones, when you solve the inequality, it'll always be a real number. So b is a real number. We have our semicolon, and then we write our inequality. B is greater than negative 5. And that's how you solve and write an inequality in set builder notation. So let's do number 4 together. So the first thing we need to do is distribute the 2. So we have 6p minus 10, and then we have our minus 7p is less than negative 2. Since the p's are on the same side, we just combine them. So we get negative p minus 10 is less than negative 2. Add 10 to both sides. So we get negative p is less than 8. And we can't have a negative p, so we have to divide by negative 1. And remember, when we divide by negative 1, we have to switch the sign. So now we have p is greater than negative 8. And to write that in set builder notation, we're going to have our bracket, define our variable of p, and p is a real number, have our semicolon, and write our inequality. P is greater than negative 8. And close our bracket. Hopefully you guys understood that one. We're going to move on to number 5 and do this one together. So then the first thing we see we need to do is distribute our negative 2. So we have negative 2 minus, negative 2x, negative 2x minus 14 is less than or equal to negative 14 plus 2x. I'm going to add the 2x because I like to have positive variables, but you guys can do whatever. Negative 14 is less than or equal to negative 14 plus 4x. Get rid of the 14 plus 14 plus 14. We have 0 is greater than or equal to 4x. Divide by 4. Divide by 4. 0 divided by 4 is 0. And then we have less than or equal to x. So that's our inequality. And to write that in set builder notation, we have to define our variable of x, and then x is a real number. Have our semicolon, and then write our inequality and close our bracket. And that is set builder notation. I want you guys to pause it right now, do number 6 on your own, and then we will come back and make sure we get the same answer. Okay, I'm back, and I want you guys to look and see what I did. I just distributed on this step, and then I added the 1 to the negative 12, and then we added the 11 to both sides, divided by negative 6. I want you guys to be aware, if you look, since we divided by a negative, we have to switch the sign right here. So it's x is less than 1/3. And so then our set builder notation is we defined our variable of x, and then we have x is a real number, and then we wrote our inequality, x is less than 1/3. Hopefully you guys understand that, and if not, come to class with questions, and then we will answer them for you. Okay, last couple. For these ones, we're going to write each set in set builder notation. So for the first thing we need to do for these is let's write an inequality that represents these numbers. So we have, it starts at negative 3 and then it continues all the way, and it will go to the infinity for all of these bigger numbers. So it's all the numbers greater than 3, so x is greater than negative 3. So that's our inequality. So now we just have to put it in set builder notation. So we have our bracket. We need to write b is equal to, define our variable, let's use b, and then we have b is a, and then we need to look at our definitions, and since if when you look at the front, our definition that fits this one is an integer, so we have an integer that, and then we have to have our semicolon and write our inequality. And that is our set builder notation for number 7. For number 8, we're going to have m is equal to our bracket, and let's define our variable of m, and then we have m is a, and then if you look back, our counting numbers one is natural number, so m is a natural number, but we also have one more thing, it's only the even numbers, so m is an even natural number. And then we have to write our inequality, and we have x is less than 11. Or you can go x is less than or equal to 10. Either way, but I would prefer this one, so that's what I'm going to write. Hopefully those make sense to you, so I want you guys to pause it right now, do number 9 on your own, then we'll come back and make sure we get the same answer. Okay, I'm back, and you guys can see what I did. I have s is equal to, and I defined my variable of s, and then s is a natural number because it's not negative and it's not 0, so it's a natural number. And then if you look, those are all the factors of 18, so s is a factor of 18 is what we write. So I hope you guys understand this section. Come with your filled out notes to class on Monday, and we will go over the notes and do our assignment in class. I hope you guys had or have a good weekend.